Hi, my name is Kalaja Ellis. I am a sophomore business administration student hailing all the way from the Port City, Mobile, Alabama, and today I had chapter 9. So for our team assignment presentation, we used a collaborative and adaptive methodology to effectively organize and present the key terms, principles, and concepts from chapters 1 through 10. We began by identifying the main ideas of the chapters, including organizational design, flexibility, innovation, and responsiveness to change. From there, we divided the content into sections and assigned each team member a specific area of focus. This allowed us to work efficiently while also ensuring that each part of the presentation was thoroughly developed. Our methodology emphasized both structure and flexibility. Initially, we created a clear plan outlining deadlines, responsibilities, and expectations. However, we remained open to adjustments throughout the process. For example, if one section needed more detail or if someone required assistance, we adapted by redistributing tasks or collaborating more closely. These reflects the core idea of adaptive organizations, which is the ability to respond quickly and effectively to change. In terms of organizational process, we followed several key steps. First was the planning stage, where we outlined the presentation and established goals. Next was the research phase, where each member gathered relevant information from the textbook and supporting sources. After that, we moved into content development, creating slides and organizing information in a clear and engaging way. We then held review sessions to combine our work, ensure consistency, and make improvements. Finally, we practiced the presentation to ensure smooth delivery and effective communication. Communication played a critical role in our process. We use digital collaboration tools such as shared slides and group messaging to stay connected and updated. Regular check-ins allow us to track progress, address challenges, and make necessary adjustments. This ongoing communication helped us remain aligned as a team and ensured that our final presentation was cohesive and well organized. Adaptive organizations, as discussed in Chapter 9, are designed to respond quickly to changes in their environment. One of the major benefits of adaptive organizations is flexibility. They can adjust their strategies, structures, and process in response to new challenges, which allows them to remain competitive in rapidly changing industries. Another key benefit is innovation. Adaptive organizations encourage creativity and idea sharing, which often leads to better problem solving and improved performances. Additionally, adaptive organizations promote employee empowerment and collaboration. When team members are given more responsibility and encouraged to contribute ideas, they tend to be more engaged and motivated, which is what happened in our group. We started throwing ideas out there about what could we do, and everybody started being active in the group chat and more engaged. This leads to a more positive work environment and stronger overall performance. However, there are also challenges associated with adaptive organizations. One significant challenge is uncertainty. Because change is constant, employees may feel unsure about their roles, responsibilities, or expectations. This can lead to confusion if not managed properly. Another challenge is maintaining consistency. When processes are frequently adjusted, it can be difficult to ensure that everyone is following the same standards or procedures, which is honestly true. What kind of happened in our group too as well. I had to be the one to stay consistent on everybody, make sure they had their things were going good, everything was going good with their slide and their presentation. Furthermore, adaptive organizations require strong communication and leadership. Without clear communication, teams may struggle to stay coordinated, which can reduce efficiency, which is what I did not want to happen to my team, so that's why I kept reaching out, even if I was being a little worrisome. Some employees may also resist change, especially if they prefer more traditional and structured environments. In conclusion, our team's methodology and organizational processes closely reflected the principles of an adaptive organization. By combining structure with flexibility, maintaining strong communication, and continuously improving our work, we were able to create an effective and cohesive presentation. While adaptive organizations face challenges such as uncertainty and The need for constant communication, their ability to respond quickly to change and foster innovation makes them highly valuable in today's dynamic business environment. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Marnisha Guyton. I am a liberal studies major here at Alabama A&M University, and today I will be covering chapter 10 for the team assignment. So for this assignment, our team demonstrated effective team management by working towards a shared purpose, which was to successfully complete this project, while also ensuring contribution from all team members. So we maintain communication through group chats and text messages, which allowed us to stay organized, share updates, and remain aligned on expectations as well as deadlines. Each team member was accountable for their assignment responsibilities, which enabled us to achieve our performance goal effectively. Our collaboration was strengthened by responsiveness and mutual respect, and a willingness to support each other. This created an environment where we could quickly address any questions, adapt when needed, as well as continually improve our quality of work. One key benefit of this team assignment was the ability to divide tasks and making the workload more manageable, while also benefiting from diverse perspectives. However, a challenge we encountered was relying solely on virtual communication, which can sometimes limit engagement compared to in-person interactions, of course. So in conclusion, this experience highlighted the importance of communication, accountability, and the collaboration in successfully manage a team. Hi everyone, my name is Marnisha Guyton.
Good morning, everyone. I am Kiara Henderson, a junior psychology major from Aliceville, Alabama. And fun fact about me, I love crocheting. I will be presenting on Chapter 5, Planning and Decision Making. This chapter focuses on how organizations set goals, create strategies, and make decisions that guide their operations towards success. I'll be explaining the benefits and the challenges of planning, the steps for creating efficient plans, and how group decision making can enhance results. I'll also relate these concepts to our team assignment experience so you can see how planning and decision making works in real world scenarios. What is planning? Planning is essentially the blueprint for success. It involves identifying what we want to achieve and figuring out how to get there. There are different types of planning. You have strategic, you have tactical, you have operational, and I always have trouble pronouncing this word. Contingency. There it is. I got it, y'all. Contingency planning. For example, in our team assignment, strategic planning was deciding which chapter each member would cover to maximize strengths. Tactical planning was creating our slides and scripts for the presentation. Operational planning includes scheduling our Zoom meeting and deciding on who would rehearse and record which part. What's the word again? Contingency planning was having backup slides or notes in case someone had technical issues. Benefits of planning. Planning has several key benefits. First, it provides direction, making it clear what the team is working towards. Second, it reduces uncertainty by anticipating potential challenges and preparing solutions. Third, it improves resource management, ensuring time, people, and materials are used efficiently. And finally, it enhances team coordination, which is especially important in collaborative projects like ours. In our group assignment, having a clear plan allow us to divide the workload, avoid overlaps, and making sure all requirement elements were included. Several steps. 1. Set clear objectives. Know exactly what team or organization wants to achieve. 2. Identify resources. Determine what tools, time, and people are available. 3. Develop strategies. Decide on what approach and actions needed to meet objectives. 4. Implement the plan. Carry out the steps as planned. 5. monitor and adjust, track progress, and make necessary changes along the way. In our team assignment, we followed these steps naturally. We set the objective of completing a professional 20-minute group presentation. We identified resources like PowerPoint, Zoom, and our team members' strengths. We developed strategies for dividing chapters and creating slides. Then we implemented the plan by recording and combining our parts. Finally, we monitored progress during rehearsal and adjusted timing and content where needed. Real-world application. In real-world business, planning and decision-making are crucial. Companies like Amazon, Apple, or any local business for that matter relies on structured planning to set goals, allocate resources, and stay competitive. Flexibility is key. Decision-making ensures teams use collective intelligence to solve complex problems. Just like our team assignment, in this business world, teams must communicate, share ideas, and make decisions together. So the key takeaways from this presentation is, to summarize, planning and decision-making are essential management tools. Planning provides direction and reduces uncertainty. Creating efficient plans requires setting objectives, allocating resources, and implementing strategies, and also monitoring progress. Group decision-making allows teams to leverage collective knowledge, improving both progress and results. And finally, while planning is essential, flexibility is key to adapt to real-world challenges. Our team assignment gave us practical examples of these concepts in action. Through planning, organization, and making decisions together, we were able to create a high-quality presentation efficiently and collaboratively. Thank you for listening to my segment on Chapter 5, Planning and Decision Making. I hope this presentation highlights how important these concepts are, not only for this assignment, but for professional and personal success in a real-world setting. I hope you enjoyed. Again, I am Kiara Henderson, a junior psychology major, and this is my presentation. Thank you again.
Hello everyone, I am Wanye Williams from Chicago, Illinois, a junior majoring in entrepreneurship. So for part of this project, I'm covering Chapter 1, which is all about what it really means to be a manager. And I'm not just talking about being in charge, but actually understanding how to manage people, tasks, and situations in a way that gets results. When I first read this chapter, one thing that stood out to me is that management really comes down to 4 main things, and that is planning, organizing, leading, and controlling. And honestly, I didn't realize it at first, but my group and I actually used all 4 of these without even thinking about it. So first up, planning. When we got this assignment, we didn't just jump into it. We went to Instagram, made a group chat, and started talking about who's going to do what. That right there is planning. We figured out our chapters, deadlines, and how we were going to put everything together at the end. A real world example of this would be like planning a birthday party. You don't just show up and hope everything works out. You decide the date, the location, the guest list, and the time. That's exactly what we did, just with the project instead of a party. Next up, we have organizing. Once we had a plan, we had to actually divide the work. Everyone chose a chapter, and we made sure responsibilities were clear so nobody was confused or overlapping. That helped us stay on track. In real life, this is like a job. Think about a restaurant. You have a host, the servers, and the cooks. If everybody tried to do everything, it would be chaotic. Same with our group. Organizing helped us function smoothly. Then comes leading. Even though we had a leader, we all stepped up as leaders as well in different ways. Some people kept the conversations going in the group chat, some reminded others about deadlines, and some helped clarify instructions. Leadership isn't always about having a title, it's about taking initiative. An example of that would be a group of friends on a trip. There's always that one person that says, okay, this is where we're going next, or let's leave at this time. That's leadership, even if it is informal. And lastly, we have controlling. This is basically making sure everything is going the way it's supposed to. For us, that meant checking in, making sure everyone was doing their part, and adjusting if something wasn't working. Like if someone needed help or clarification, we addressed it. This is like when the manager at a store checks to make sure the employees are doing their jobs correctly or that the store is running smoothly. It's not about being controlling in a negative way. It's about making sure goals are being met. So overall, what I took from chapter 1 is that management isn't just about something CEOs do. It's something we all do in our everyday lives, even in group projects like this. Our team showed that even in an online class, we can still effectively manage by communicating, staying organized, and holding each other accountable. Using Instagram made it so much easier to stay connected and respond quickly, which helped everything flow better. If we didn't use these management principles, honestly, this project wouldn't have come together the way it did. So yeah, being a manager isn't about power. It's about coordination, communication, and making sure everything works together. And this project really showed me that when everyone plays their role and stays connected, management happens naturally, and that's what leads to success today. Thank you.
Greetings, I am Hunter Williams, and today I will be going over Chapter 7, Innovation and Change. Innovation and change during our project as one of, collaboration into the group played a huge role in regards to product innovation, process innovation, and business model innovation, which I will be going over the 3 differences between those two. Product innovation involves creativity, creations, combining ideas into one to improve it to be a better product. Process innovation focuses on proving how things are made and delivered. So for example, let's say I get something from Amazon and the product is not fully satisfactional. We're gonna improve the product by fixing it. Then business model innovation changes how we see a company, how we perceive the company, and how money is being made. Now, changes are important, including running a business, running a full-blown company, running a managing team, and overall collaborating into one big whole group. So incremental change is a small and gradual change, meaning let's say one of our business partners wants to make a change into the policy. It's not gonna make a huge difference, it'll make a sliver of a difference. Radical change is major because we're transforming the company into one thing that wasn't before into something better now, if that makes sense. And then change management. Every business and every group and every management team needs change management. Managing a whole full-blown business involves change. We want change. We love change. You might change for the better or you might change for the worse for your company. So basically, during this process and during this chapter in Chapter 7, we do learn the Lewin's 3-step model process, which is unfreezing, changing, and refreezing. Unfreezing basically prepares the organization to break down things such as breaking down policy, breaking down products, new skills. Changing is basically implementing new ideas and processes. Then refreezing is reinforcing new changes so they become permanent. So let's just say I don't want to become manager or be the manager anymore. I'm going to use somebody else, a part of my team, and enforce a new policy and a new role for the person to become the new manager because I don't want to be manager anymore. So that's what I think about whenever I think about refreezing, changing, and unfreezing. But yeah.
Hello everyone, my name is Joshua Parker, and my portion of the project focuses on Chapter 6, Organizational Strategy, along with reflecting on how our team worked together during this assignment. Organizational strategy focuses on how companies position themselves to succeed in their industry and compete with other businesses. The goal of strategy is to help organizations create a competitive advantage so they can perform better than their competitors over time. When a company has a sustainable competitive advantage, it means they are able to provide value to customers in a way that competitors cannot easily copy or replace. Companies achieve this by using their resources, knowledge, and capabilities in ways that give them an advantage in the marketplace. Another important concept from this chapter is how organizations decide how they want to compete within their industry. More common approach is cost leadership, which focuses on producing products or services at a lower cost than competitors so they can offer lower prices to customers. This strategy helps attract customers who are looking for affordability and makes it harder for new competitors to enter the market. Another strategy is differentiation, which focuses on making a product or service unique so customers see it as more valuable than competing options. Companies that use differentiate often focus on things like quality, brand image, innovation, or customer experience. The third strategy is a focus strategy where a company targets a specific group of customers or a niche market instead of trying to serve everyone. Organizations also have to adjust their strategies depending on changes in their environment. Some companies focus on protecting their current market position and maintaining steady growth, while others focus on innovation and searching for new opportunities. There are also companies that take a balanced approach by maintaining stable products while also adapting to successful ideas in the market. The key point is that organizations must constantly evaluate their strategies and adapt in order to stay competitive. Another important idea in Chapter 6 is direct competition between companies. Businesses do not compete with every company in the industry, but instead they compete most closely with companies that offer similar products and target similar customers. When companies are competing directly with each other, they often make strategic moves to gain advantage. Sometimes this involves making competitive moves to gain market share, while other time it involves responding to competitors in order to protect their position in the market. These types of competitive actions happen in many industries and play a major role in how companies grow and maintain their success. When reflecting on our group for this assignment, each team member brought different strengths that help us complete the project successfully. Kiara's strength is being very strategic, which helped our group stay organized and think carefully about how we wanted to present the information. One challenge is with that strength is being a perfectionist. It can sometimes slow down the process, and because there is a strong focus on making sure that everything is perfect in the exact way that we want it. Hunter brought consistency to the group, which helped keep the project moving forward because he stayed dependable with completing his responsibilities. One challenge is time management, which can sometimes make coordinating